Taking care with your tax returns and submitting accurate tax returns can save you time and money. There are obvious benefits for your customer, for you as an agent, and for us HMRC, and we recognise that most of our customers do take care with the returns and documents they submit. HMRC aims to educate and support those who try to comply, and wants customers to take reasonable care with their records and systems, to tell HMRC about inaccuracies without prompting, and to help HMRC put things right. HMRC doesn't expect perfection and knows that mistakes do happen. Reasonable care varies according to particular circumstances and the abilities of each customer, and can include taking care of records and systems, acting on advice from a competent advisor, or seeking advice when dealing with something new or unfamiliar. The good news is that if a customer takes reasonable care with their tax records and systems, then even if an error occurs, no penalty will be due. Finance Act 2007, Section 97 and Schedule 24, and Finance Act 2008, Schedule 40, sets out how penalties will be applied for inaccuracies in information, documents and returns. HMRC will look at behaviours to determine whether a penalty is due. So what do we mean by behaviours? Well, when reasonable care has not been taken, we're keen to understand the behaviour that led to the error. The behaviours that can lead to a penalty are described as careless, deliberate, or as deliberate and concealed. A careless inaccuracy will be when an inaccurate record has been sent to us without the person taking reasonable care, or when an error occurs despite a person taking reasonable care and the person fails to bring it to our attention upon discovery. A deliberate inaccuracy occurs when a person knowingly and intentionally gives us an inaccurate document or return, such as omitting takings. This is not just a careless mistake. And a deliberate and concealed inaccuracy is the most serious level of evasion. It's where active steps have been taken to hide the inaccuracy, either before or after the document or return has been submitted. Where a document contains more than one inaccuracy, a penalty will be charged for each one. That is, unless the inaccuracies can be grouped together as one. The way HMRC finds out about an error influences the penalty. Disclosures can be prompted or unprompted. If a customer tells HMRC without prompting and has no reason to believe that HMRC has or is about to discover the error, then either no penalty or a reduced penalty will be charged. A penalty can also be reduced if it's unprompted through consideration of the quality of the person's disclosure. Let's now take a look at the penalty calculation. As mentioned earlier, penalties address the behaviour that led to the inaccuracy. Within each penalty range, whether prompted or unprompted, reductions are available for the quality of disclosure. Reductions can be received by telling HMRC about the inaccuracy, helping HMRC to quantify the inaccuracy, or giving HMRC access to their records. And it will be dependent on the timing of the disclosure, the nature of the disclosure, and the extent of the quality of disclosure. The penalty calculation can range from no penalty to a maximum of 100%. The maximum penalty can be reduced and allowed against the particular penalty range for quality of disclosure, taking into account all the circumstances, including up to 30% for telling HMRC about the inaccuracy, up to 40% for helping HMRC to quantify the inaccuracy, and up to 30% for giving HMRC access to the business records. Penalties will be calculated as a percentage of the potential lost revenue that is the additional tax due to HMRC. So let's look at a typical example. An inaccuracy has given rise to a potential loss of revenue of £100,000. The behaviour that led to the inaccuracy is judged to be careless, and the disclosure of the inaccuracy was unprompted. This gives a penalty range from 0% to 30%. So, deducting the minimum from the maximum gives the maximum disclosure reduction, which in this case is 30%. The quality of the disclosure has been agreed at 100%. This is because the customer received the maximum reduction for telling, helping and giving. So, multiplying the maximum disclosure reduction possible, which is 30%, by the 100% quality of disclosure reduction rate gives the actual percentage for disclosure reduction, which is 30%. Now, to work out the actual penalty to be charged, take the 30% reduction from the maximum penalty chargeable. This is 30% for a careless inaccuracy, and this gives a final percentage to be charged of nil. So there would be no penalty charged in this case. Even though this customer has been deemed careless, by disclosing the inaccuracy fully and without prompting, no penalty would be charged. In this short presentation, we're not able to cover everything you need to know about penalties for inaccuracies in information, documents and returns. But if you require further information on the subject, then why not visit our web pages at www.hmrc.gov.uk/agents/compliance/index.htm, and there you'll find written guidance. You can also watch a more detailed presentation on these penalties on HMRC's YouTube channel. For information about our Agent Account Manager's services, other learning products, and the support we can offer agents and accountants, please visit www.hmrc.gov.uk/agents/aam.htm.